So today I'll be talking about basically how I was delivered of alcoholism. I just want to share my experience, and I believe my experience will help and guide you if you are struggling with alcohol, or you are not even struggling with alcohol. You have children and you don't want them to be a victim of alcoholism tomorrow. Before I go ahead, I'll first of all tell you my little story. My story was like this. When I was growing up, I think let me say about 14, 15 years, or between 10 to 14 years then. I used to go out. So I went with one of my friends, or some of my friends, to a party, a wedding party. So after the party, they were after the wedding, they were sharing food, and as they share food, they were sharing drinks. Let me tell you the truth, then I didn't know the difference between alcohol and a normal drink. So they were sharing the drinks. My parents were not there. It was only me and my friends. So they were sharing drinks. They got to my place. They gave me a can drink. Sincerely, I didn't know that it was an alcoholic drink because it was me. Some of them were malt, some of them were Fanta, some of them were Coke and Heineken, and so as an adult, let me say semi-adult, that's an adolescent. I never knew that some drinks were what alcoholic. So, as God will have it, when the one they gave me was Henneken. At that point, I said, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking, not that I knew it was alcohol. I just felt that I was not drinking. So, along the line, my neighbor they gave my neighbor some other persons. So, I now noticed that when they opened the Henneken, as the person was drinking it, I now noticed that this one is not like the Coke and the rest. I didn't taste it. Probably if I had tasted it that day, probably I would have. Only God knows. Then my second point is this. If you are not struggling with alcohol, you don't know what God has done for you. You really don't know what God has done for you. Or if you have not tasted alcohol, eh? You don't really know what God has done for you, because some people that have tasted it once, twice, are struggling to get out of it. So you look at it as a normal thing. And let me tell you the truth, don't think they are envying you. So back to my point. How do you make a child not get trapped into alcoholism? That is the basics of my video. How do you? One, I believe I'm talking to probably Christians and people that have morals. At an early stage, at an early age, tell them there is not every drink that is permitted to enter their mouth. And tell them at an early age, when they can understand what you're talking about, that so any drink that is written so percent alcohol, whether it is 1% alcohol, whether it's 2% alcohol, they should never taste it. Before they take any drink, let them check the level and tell them the dangers of what taking alcohol. One, I have three children and three kids. I told them that alcohol will make you not to be what? Reasoning like a human being. Alcohol can disgrace you. Alcohol can make you not to be what? Behaving normally. If you don't have that discussion with them, it may be too late. Before you know it, their friends may expose them into what? Alcoholism. And let me tell you, starting something is easy, but to stop it is where the problem is.